334-322-0662.
Hi, this is Carol Kennedy with Camo Country, and we've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for many years, and we appreciate Blue Water Broadcasting helping promote Camo Country.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program, and thank God for another day. On the brightest and the darkest day, thank God for another day. And of course, starting yesterday, we began Holy Week, and so I want to begin this way. From Matthew 26:30, and when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. It's right after the Last Supper, right as they're going to the Garden of Gethsemane. And then from Colossians 3:16, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. Teach and admonish one another in all wisdom, and sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. During Holy Week, it is far too easy to be caught up carrying the tune of our distractions and demands rather than carrying our cross. That some may look upon this week with indifference or disdain is nothing new. So too did many look upon the cross of Calvary with eyes full of apathy and contempt. How many, whether or not they know what they do, will sing songs of mockery as this Holy Week comes and goes? How many will feel forsaken yet not see his or seek his face? How many will remain caught up like soldiers in their duties for the day? How many will whistle bets, issuing taunts and threats only to cast lots to settle the scores of sport or war? How many will hum their disinterest and disregard as though this week is just another to be ignored? Yet our discord could be resolved in harmony if only we would soften our hearts to hear the hymns of Holy Week. The psalms sung for the Passover feast, the same sung by Jesus and his disciples before they went out to Gethsemane, the hymns of the new covenant the Apostle Paul would teach. What if all these rang out anew in our hearts this week? Imagine a soldier at war, spending his Holy Week in the Persian air and seas, with Psalm 118 pulsing between his every heartbeat. Out of my distress I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and set me free. With the Lord on my side, I do not fear. What can man do to me? Or imagine a needy mother, a sorrowful mother, a woman weary from working a year and a week to make ends meet, her heart in her breast pumping praise for God in the hope of Psalm 113. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. Or imagine a lost nation, swift to fall on their knees to all idols they can fashion and see, their hearts softened and eyes open to the sovereign music of the hidden God in Psalm 115. Why should the nations say, where is their God? Our God is in the heavens. He does whatever he pleases. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths but do not speak, eyes but do not see. They have ears, but do not hear, noses, but do not smell. They have hands, but do not feel, feet, but do not walk, and they do not make a sound in their throat. Those who make them are like them. So are all who trust in them. Or imagine a Christian who has always believed, a dutiful son who has always done his best to confess and attend his church weekly. Yet through repetition, his heart's contrition begins to sound sour and stale as year after year he hears his pastor tell the very same tale. So he begins to feel resentment where once his heart felt free and young, as the green of envy colors his eye at the return of each prodigal son. Imagine such a man could fall in love with the suffering servant all over again, that his heart could pang as it did the very first time he heard of the innocent son's humility in suffering the wages of sin. Imagine that such a man could fall in love with the mystery of Christ's cross and resurrection all over again, that he could hear his heart chanting anew Paul's hymn to the Philippians, who, though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited, but emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness, and being found in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. Therefore God also highly exalted him and gave him the name that is above every name, so that at the name of Jesus every knee should bend, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Imagine all these, and many more. Then pray they might come to be, that no heart is too hardened to bear their cross, and hear the hymns of Holy Week. You know, yesterday, for the first time in like 15, 20 years really, I attended a Palm Sunday Mass. In a moment at the holiest site in Christianity, the Cardinal there, the Chief Patriarch there, was denied entry to go say Mass. But the beautiful thing about, well, being a part of the mystical body of Christ is that the Mass and the renewal of the Mass still happens all over the earth. And one thing that I'd forgotten that at least is done at the Catholic Church, and I hope in some ways is done other places, maybe it is when it came time to hear the gospel, it wasn't just listening to somebody read. It was almost like a dialogue, a play, to where you had the deacon as the narrator, you had a lay reader, a regular person of the church turned out to be, I think, the deacon's son, reading one part, and all the lines of Jesus were read by the priest. And then there were particular lines the entire congregation read. And of course, this particular one, we followed the Gospel of Matthew verbatim. So when it came time to say, give us Barabbas, we said it. When it came time to say, crucify him, we said it. And as Pilate, that God-forsaken man, who apparently it's legend, tradition with a capital T, though it is in the Gospel of Matthew, but the legend is that his wife had a dream knowing that his name would be shouted or said in churches till the end of time, as we say the Nicene Creed. But even after Pilate says, I find no fault in his man, we in the congregation said, crucify him. Let his blood be on our heads and our children's. We said that. We did this. And it had been a long time. Of course, you hear the story 12 years of Catholic school, you hear the story over and over again. And heck, you don't even have to be Catholic. You live in the Bible Belt, son. You should know the story and the passion of the Christ. And sometimes you hear it over and over again. You hear it presented in different ways. Even, I think, amazing movies made about it, and some not quite as good. But there was something about being back in that church of my childhood that I was raised in that I got way too used to when I was a kid. Being back there, something anew started to sing in my heart. And partly it is a guilt. It is a broken heart. And it makes me want to run towards contrition and give it up. You know, we have a lot of things to do this Holy Week. It's another week. We got work. I can't imagine the soldiers out there as Easter gets closer and closer. Can you imagine being on an aircraft carrier on Good Friday? Perhaps you have to drop bombs on Good Friday. And I asked my grandfather, did that ever happen to him? And yep, there was a Holy Week and an Easter where he was in Thailand serving in theater for the Vietnam War. And luckily there was a small group that was able to get together, that was very close-knit to remember the meaning and point and purpose of this week. Yeah, there is one thing that I will be taking off, and this should be the replay for Good Friday. And at times it does amaze me that that is not a day where everybody takes off, as best they can, obviously. But as you go about the practical duties you have in life, and maybe you can't help yourself. You got to keep placing bets and watching March Madness and whatnot. Or, you know, baseball. We got to see this. We're just at the opening of the season. Like, there's a lot that can distract you. And honestly, I'm not saying it's bad. It's all good. But it's not the greatest. And so if you just let some of the hymns of Holy Week sing in your heart, you don't have to sing them yourselves. Open up Psalm 22. Open up Psalm 118. Which, by the way, I believe it's Psalms 113 through 118. They're called the Hallel Psalms, or the Egyptian Psalms, and they were sung at Passover, especially in the first century, at the time Christ and his disciples would have been doing the Last Supper. And so when you see that one line I began with from Matthew 26:30, and when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Is that Psalm 118 maybe they were singing? Just go read it. Especially if you hadn't read it in a long time. Or especially if you're almost too familiar with it. Just let it speak to you. And even if you don't have some massive conversion or something starts to sparkle or burn in a good way, not hearing anything can also be a great gift as well, because it's a greater test of faith than anything in this world. You know, you have to seek it. You have to want to see it. There's so many times in the Gospels where Christ is pulling off miracles right in front of people's eyes. Healing man and woman again and again, raising Lazarus from the dead. And yet people still don't believe. And in fact, get resentful and want to kill him for it. So you got to be able to see it. In a way, God hides in order for us to seek him. But when you do seek him, you might be surprised at what can find you. Something's happened to me in the last month, in the last 35, 40 days. It's honestly been happening over months. It's been happening over years. And I'm deeply thankful for it. And I don't know where it's going to lead. But I wake up and pray day by day. and I learned to trust the path that's laid before me. We got to hit a break. When we come back, we'll get into some of the news. Of course, the world keeps spinning, and there's plenty of news to get to. Y'all stay tuned.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
If you own a home and need cash, you can unlock thousands of dollars from your home equity quickly and easily. Call LendGo today at 888-407-7095. At LendGo, you can find out how much cash you could get with a home equity loan in just 2 minutes. It's free, there's no obligation, and it won't affect your credit score. Use the money for anything. Pay off high-interest debt, make home improvements, or just give your budget some breathing room. Best of all, you keep your low mortgage rate while you're getting the cash you need. See how much you can get today. Call 888-407-7095. That's 888-407-7095. Or visit lendgo.com. That's LENDGO.com. Homeowners nationwide are doing it. Now it's your turn. Call 888-407-7095 today. LendGo, where homeowners go to get cash. 888-407-7095.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small, then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. In studio with me, we have Troy Carrico. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, and I have to tell you, Joey, I'm moved when you give your testimonies. I'm moved, just like many of your listeners are. I've watched you mature to a point where it has caused me to have to up my game and to really come at it at a different. It's beautiful. I'm just very proud of you, and I know that God's got great plans for you.
Like I said, I don't know where it's going to take me, but
who knows?
We'll see. Now, this one shocked me as I was going back to the church of my childhood to experience that Palm Sunday liturgy. I saw this in the news. And by the way, Bibi Netanyahu has come out, even Ambassador Mike Huckabee. This is like one of the biggest self-owns and big mistakes I've seen in a long time.
Agreed.
Israeli police prevented a Catholic cardinal from celebrating Palm Sunday Mass at the church traditionally believed to have been built over the site of Christ's crucifixion and burial, adding a new dynamic to the ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Cardinal, Pier Battista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem and the highest-ranking Catholic cleric in the Holy Land, was traveling with the official guardian of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Father Francesco Ilpo. when they were stopped en route while proceeding privately without any characteristic of a procession or ceremonial act, according to an official joint statement. As a result, and for the first time in centuries, I'm going to repeat, for the first time in centuries, the heads of the church were prevented from celebrating the Palm Sunday Mass at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Warning of the grave precedent the incident risks setting as billions this week look to Jerusalem. The statement notes how seriously local church officials have complied with the restrictions imposed by the civil authorities, despite disruptions and inconveniences. The restrictions have not always been evenly implemented, Reuters reported, citing local resident Muslim preachers during Ramadan and a Western Wall cleaning crew ahead of Passover, for example, were allowed to access their respective holy sites in certain circumstances. The heads of the churches have acted with full responsibility, the statement continued, and since the outset of the war have complied with all imposed restrictions. Public gatherings were canceled, attendance was prohibited, and arrangements were made to broadcast the celebration to hundreds of millions of faithful worldwide who, during these days of Easter, turned their eyes to Jerusalem and to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Preventing the entry of the Cardinal and the Guardian, who bear the highest ecclesiastical responsibility for the Catholic Church in the holy places, constitute a manifestly unreasonable and grossly disproportionate measure, the statement went on to criticize. This hasty and fundamentally flawed decision, tainted by improper considerations, represents an extreme departure from basic principles of reasonableness, freedom of worship, and respect for the status quo. The Cardinal went on to lead a simpler liturgical service in front of the Church of all Nations in Gethsemane. He blessed the city with a relic of the true cross and called for, quote, inner peace to flow from the heart of every Christian to the entire world and especially to the Holy Land. Of course, Palm Sunday marks the beginning of the Holy Week, commemorating the entry of Christ into Jerusalem days before his arrest, trial, crucifixion, death, burial, and resurrection. It coincides with the April 1st through 9th, 2026 Jewish observance of the Passover. With the accessibility of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre now in question, it remains to be seen where the faithful of the Holy Land will gather for the celebration of Easter Sunday, the holiest day of the Christian liturgical calendar. Pope Leo appeared to address the situation to pilgrims and to Vatican City during his noon Angelus remarks, saying, at the beginning of Holy Week, our prayers are more than ever with the Christians of the Middle East who are suffering the consequences of a brutal conflict and in many cases are unable to observe fully the liturgies of these holy days. Just as the Church contemplates the mystery of the Lord's Passion, we cannot forget those who today are truly sharing in his suffering. Their ordeal challenges all our consciences. Now, in reaction, I'm now looking at a statement put out by Benjamin Netanyahu on X, saying, I've instructed the relevant authorities that the Cardinal, the Latin Patriarch, be granted full and immediate access to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Over the past several days, Iran has repeatedly targeted the holy sites of all three monotheistic religions in Jerusalem with ballistic missiles. In one strike, missile fragments crashed meters, about 1,500 feet from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. To protect worshipers, Israel asked members of all faiths to temporarily abstain from worshiping at the Christian, Muslim, and Jewish holy sites in Jerusalem's Old City. Today, out of special concern for his safety, Cardinal was asked to refrain from holding Mass at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Even though I understand this concern, as soon as I learned about the incident with the Cardinal, I instructed the authorities to enable the Patriarch to hold services as he wishes. And even Mike Huckabee, the ambassador of the United States to Israel, says, quote, for the Patriarch to be barred from entry to the church on Palm Sunday for a private ceremony is difficult to understand or justify. Now, it appears that same Cardinal has come out and said it appears to be a rash decision by a guy on the ground,
sure.
And he understands. And the the Palm Sunday service and the blessing of the city of Jerusalem. They're from Gethsemane. In a way, it's, if I could say that word, wish I could.
Gethsemane?
Yeah. It's, it brings things into perspective. You know, earlier as this war started, we talked about the sirens, the missile sirens going off right above the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and to see the liturgy and this Holy Week disrupted, I can't even imagine.
Well, let's be honest. We know that's probably a high-value target to the Iranians.
Yep.
And they're not above doing that to try to get a point across. But the funny thing is, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is real close by, too.
Right.
But, you know, we'll see. I think it was a ground decision. I don't think it was a Jewish versus Christian thing.
No, I don't
They've
think
been
so.
doing it for centuries doing this. But the guy's like, that's too dangerous. We just had a rocket land nearby. But good. I'm glad that they have. It's important the rest of the week that they're there. So.
Yeah, and in a second, we'll get into Trump. The quote, major quote, as he was on Air Force One is, "I see a deal with Iran this week." Perhaps.
He's got that 8 ball, that
Perhaps.
magic 8 ball. He's shaking it up.
Yeah,
You guys try again.
I don't know. I don't know. They claim we are dealing with a new and more reasonable regime.
Yeah.
We'll get into all the Trump statements and stuff in a second after the break. Also, Rubio on the Sunday shows, carrying the water for the administration. Also, in other news, just an odd thing. Lindsey Graham was spotted by himself holding a child's toy at Disneyland, or excuse me, Disney World.
Say that again.
Yeah. Lindsey Graham was spotted just wandering around by himself, and he was holding like a little wand thing, like that a kid would buy as you buy your kid for a souvenir.
Okay.
And I'm like, why is the 70-year-old senator at
What is he
Disney World
doing
by
at Disney
himself?
World by himself with a wand?
It's just odd.
Maybe he's trying to.
But by the way, as Trump was saying, getting back to the point, I see a deal with Iran this week. He also is now weighing the plan to seize their uranium, and he says, quote, "To be honest, my favorite thing is to take the oil in Iran."
Do it, man. Do it.
So we'll see. I will continue to pray for peace. So to end this segment, here is actually part of that service.
Okay.
Yesterday on Palm Sunday,
Yep.
from the garden
Awesome.
at the front of the Mount of Olives. And let's listen in to the Cardinal, then we'll hit this break.
Dear brothers and sisters, may the Lord give you peace. We are here at the Gethsemane, the place where Jesus, having reached the culmination of his journey to Jerusalem, paused and wept. His gaze did not rest on the majestic walls or the splendor of the temple. It penetrated the heart of the city he loved, and there he saw its struggle to recognize the time of grace. This Palm Sunday afternoon, we gather without a procession, without palms, through the streets, waving through the streets. This absence is not merely a matter of form or weather. It is the war that has interrupted our festive journey, making even the simple joy of following our King difficult. Our brothers and sisters of the Holy Land today cannot fill the streets, nor join their voices to the festive procession. Their absence, as I said, is not empty before the Lord. He does not seek triumphal roads, but enters where the door is left ajar, where the fidelity is the daily bread. We are certain that the crucified and the risen one does not cease to walk among us. Even when the road is blocked, he dwells in the heart of those who have not stopped following him.
Amen.
Yet, precisely in this imposed silence, the liturgy becomes more authentic. The cry of Hosanna does not need branches to rise to heaven, and faith does not falter when outward rites are stripped away.
Amen.
It just doubles down.
Today, Jesus weeps once more over Jerusalem. He weeps over this city, which remains a sign of both hope and sorrow, of grace and suffering. He weeps over this Holy Land, still unable to recognize the gift of peace. He weeps for all the victims of a war that seems without end, for divided families, for shattered hopes. But the tears of Jesus are never sterile. They open our eyes, challenge us, and reveal the truth. The Passion Gospel we have just heard tells us how Jerusalem responded to that love. We heard of Judas' betrayal, Peter's denial, Pilate's silence, and the crowd's cry for the cross. We saw the Lord stripped, crowned with thorns, nailed between two criminals, mocked by those who passed by. Darkness seems to have the final word, and yet, running through those pages, there is a bright and unbroken thread. Jesus remains faithful to the end. He entrusts his Spirit into the hands of the Father. The earth trembles, the rocks split, and in that dramatic moment, the centurion proclaims, "Truly this was the Son of God."
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For many homeowners, there's untapped reserves hiding in plain sight. It's not in the savings account. It's not in the stock market. It's right under your roof. Now more than ever, homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity, and that equity belongs to you. It can be used to consolidate high-interest credit card debt, to pay expensive school tuition, to cover medical expenses, to invest in renovations, you name it, because that money is yours. This isn't about taking on unnecessary debt. It's about using an asset you already own to improve your financial position and your quality of life. The key is understanding your options and choosing the strategy that fits your goals. Let's see what's possible with the equity in your home. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
If you've ever wanted to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, and didn't know where to start, Janney King Gulf Coast has already built a foundation for you. With guaranteed initial customers, hands-on training, and ongoing local support, you'll never feel like you're doing it alone, because you won't be. For over 35 years, we've helped people turn their dreams into real successful businesses. Take the next step. Discover a business built for you at JanneyKingCleans.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Temperatures are warming up this week. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower 80s today with a good bit of sunshine. Partly cloudy, down to 59 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we are in the middle 80s. As March ends and April begins, there could be an isolated shower or storm on Tuesday afternoon, but a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, let's go into the president on Air Force One so you can hear from him direct. Saying that they're hoping to get a deal done like this week with a new, more reasonable Iranian regime. And in fact, before I play this clip on Air Force One, here's the president's new statement released this morning on Truth Social and put out on X. The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime. That's in all caps. to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason the deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electrical generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalinization plants, which we have purposely not yet touched. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the old regime's 47-year reign of terror. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So here's Trump on Air Force One. Let's listen in to what, directly from the fellow.
Getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely. They've destroyed a lot of additional targets today. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, we know that. But we destroyed many targets today. It was a big day. And we are negotiating with them directly and indirectly. We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us as a tribute, I don't know, I can't define it exactly, but they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place starting tomorrow morning. Over the next couple of days, a lot of boats. And I would only say that we're doing extremely well in that negotiation. But you never know with Iran, because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up. Whether it's the B-2 bombers or just terminating, as an example, the Iran nuclear deal done by Barack Hussein Obama, probably the worst deal we've ever done as a country, one of the dumbest deals we've ever done. But I terminated it, unfortunately, otherwise right now they'd have a nuclear weapon. Then we did the attack with the B-2 bombers and we stopped them from having nuclear. And now we had to blow them up again. And we will probably, I think we'll make a deal with them, pretty sure. Whether it's possible, we won't. But we've had regime change, if you look already, because the one regime was decimated, destroyed, they're all dead. The next regime is mostly dead. And the third regime, we're dealing with different people than anybody's dealt with before. It's a whole different group of people. So I would consider that regime change. And frankly, they've been very reasonable. So I think we've had regime change. I mean, you can't do much better than that. The regime that was really bad, really evil was the first one. That was done. The second was appointed, and they're gone. They're all dead, other than one who may have a little life, you know. And then there really are the third group, and the third group of people that seem to be much more reasonable. It truly is regime change. And regime change is an imperative, but I think we have it automatically.
So you can tell he is ready to get out, the way he's selling it in general.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of political talk, poly speak going on here. Mm-hmm. My gut instinct tells me that, and I know this because I've said this before, the Iranians are not interested in anything but maintaining the program of nuclear enrichment of the uranium. They're not going to agree. I've read some reports coming out of very interesting think tanks saying they will not agree to those terms, even though those are insistent in there. So it's inevitable what's going to happen, in my opinion, unless God steps in and changes the hearts of those involved. I just don't see any way.
We shall see. And by the way, just to somebody out there kind of posed this question, they ask, I just watched this great documentary of my grandfather on the 1980s 49ers.
Yeah.
Like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Ronnie Lott, and Bill Walsh, of course, the great head coach. And then, of course, the question, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? Oh, I'm going to Disneyland. They would say because they're in California. Right. But somebody just put this out. Lindsey Graham, the president is bombing Iran. What are you going to do next? And apparently TMZ got photos of Lindsey Graham vacationing at Disney World amid the government shutdown. After the Senate put out their thing, they decided to take a recess, which the House rejected. And the South Carolina senator explained that he was invited to a meeting in South Florida with U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff to talk about the possibility of normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. We're told Lindsey talked to the staff, who tucked him away in a back table. He went to the buffet line, much shorter than the TSA lines around the country. This is, again, TMZ writing.
Yeah, of course.
Grabbed some grub and chowed down. An eyewitness told us Lindsey was having a grand old time chatting with a younger woman and a kid at a table. Graham tells TMZ, I was invited to a meeting in South Florida on Friday with Trump official Steve Witkoff to talk about the possibility of normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. I went to Orlando to meet friends after. I'm already back in South Carolina. Of course, Graham isn't that flamboyant and that much of a lilt, but it's just too much fun to do. And he was seen just kind of walking around Disneyland.
I'm watching it. He's got it's pink. It's like, he's got
it's like a pink wand
like a
and
king
everything.
Scepter, almost like a king scepter. That's cool.
Like, what is that? Like, why are you doing that, man?
Maybe it's one of those fans that you blow.
I
don't know. But
and it's also in this day and age.
He's got his white shirt on.
In this day and age, do you even know what's real at this point? That could be easily like photoshopped AI Lindsey Graham walking around with that little pink wand.
I hope not.
You're right, because I saw the same thing you're looking at earlier
having a good
today.
Time.
Lindsey seems in his element. And, for all the drop, by the way, Trump's approval ratings continue to fall, which is to be expected, especially as you see gas is something like on average $4 a gallon nationwide. And, my Kia shouldn't be that much to fill up. And I did the other day. And,
you got to try to fill up my black. It's $250 on diesel.
It's got to be over 100.
It's way over 100. It's almost $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's got a 37.5 gallon tank, and it's diesel.
Yeah,
so you do the math. It's
Kia, it's only like 13, 14 gallon tank. Right. Cost $60 the other day to fill up.
So now think about that. Now let's talk about the second and third order of effects of diesel costing that much. Mm-hmm. Everything you get at a store comes through shipping, and there's a fuel surcharge that's added by the shippers under these conditions. So we're paying for it.
Yeah.
And Meemaw's getting all that gas tax money. Got a surplus of $1 billion almost. Give me a break.
Don't get me started on the Alabama legislature. I think they got one more week, maybe?
Yeah, they're on spring break right now. So, yeah.
Anyway, we got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you as spring is springing.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't fully sprung because it's still cool outside.
Yes.
But as you see those little critters start to wake up, those insects, the wasps, fire ants, the cockroaches.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, especially if you enjoy your backyard or your front porch. Mosquitoes can ruin that good conversation where you're solving all the world's problems. And, of course, if you're just looking for somebody who can give you great pest control services, whether it's baseline pest control or you want to add to it the mosquito treatment and termite inspection and treatments, they can do all that for you there at Pest Pro Services. To learn more, you can go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces or just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Troy, those fellows on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Clogged drain? Overflowing septic? Don't panic. Call the experts who have been solving plumbing problems in the river region for more than 50 years. The Tierce family's local Roto-Rooter team specializes in fast drain cleaning, septic repair, and installation. One call and your troubles are on their way down the drain. That's 272-7130 or visit rotorooteralabama.com. Roto-Rooter, always here when you need us.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Austin Baranko is tied up, busy getting work done today. In fact, seeing, he sent me a photo of exactly what he's up to. So he's indisposed at the time.
How's the markets today? Or is he? You think it's Monday? So it looks
I mean,
like,
if I could just give my layman's take,
what do you think?
they're pretty flat. It's only NASDAQ down, 0.5%.
That's what I'm looking at.
But the markets do not like this. Are they going to make a deal? They're not going to make a deal. Is the Strait of Hormuz open or is it not open? Like that uncertainty just drives them nuts. But, you don't have to base your financial plans on crazy, erratic political trends and national, international headlines. Instead, you should get with Invista Advisors, and they can help you, of course, with asset management, but also with other aspects of financial planning. They have a team of CPAs, business consultants, and investment advisors all working together to provide that comprehensive financial plan. So it could be wherever you are in life. Maybe you've waited and you're hitting your 50s, maybe your 60s, and you haven't really set up a plan. Well, they can still help you. Yep. Could be you're just starting out with a family. Want to get life insurance, want to get a plan together for the kids in case they want to go to college, or we'll play a clip here in a second, a micro trade school. Ooh. You're not going to college, kid. You're going to become an underwater welder.
That's
like
right. It's specific.
You're going to make triple what I ever made in a year. But whatever the strategy, or it could be, of course, end-of-life concerns, and again, along with that asset management and that stock portfolio. So you'll check out Invista Advisors today. You can always learn more at InvistaAdvisors.com, but I say call them up direct. Start the conversation today at 387-0094. That's 387-0094, and be sure to tell them that Joey and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you. By the way, did you see this old clip of Trump? Like, there are some folks who have the theory that Trump is a time machine.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Just how consistent
I haven't seen this
he
clip.
is. This is from 2020 in 1987 with Barbara Wawa. And it's kind of remarkable to see this young Trump, 1987, folks, give this to
being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we
in,
take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran. Because I'm
right.
Again, 1987.
You got to remember the time back then too. That was back right after the oil crisis, and
was the Iraq-Iran war still going?
It was.
On
It was right in the middle of it. It was right in the
Yeah,
middle.
nasty war. Talk about a truly nasty
kidding.
war.
You ain't kidding.
And what? We kind of played both sides of that thing.
Well, we had supplied the Shah, obviously, so they had a lot of American gear, but we were firmly backing Saddam, who is proof again that just because you're our ally tomorrow doesn't mean America will do you wrong the next
And
time.
the Kurds, once again, got
Always.
screwed.
Always getting screwed.
They got screwed in the 80s. They got screwed in the 90s.
Always
They got
getting
screwed in the early aughts. Poor Kurds.
I mean, I've worked with the Kurds up in the north, up north of Mosul, and they're outstanding. And what's strange is some of them are blonde-haired and blue-eyed like me, and it's like I'm looking at them, but they are a very resilient people, man. They're very, very loyal.
And you got to wonder if they're ever going to get their own nation, and perhaps
Now's
with
the time.
with what's going on with Iran, who knows? But here is Rubio, kind of laying out his timeline. He was on with Little Georgie.
Georgie
Stephanopoulos. I just like to call him Little Georgie.
He corrects him.
And apparently used to be a sex symbol. Like if you watch old episode of Friends,
they used to love it.
for Little
Remember how
Georgie.
they pumped him up when he was working for Clinton? It was like this big
Well,
hair.
in his own book, he wrote about how he had to wear a full beard because he looked so young. And it didn't help. He still looked like Little Georgie.
Georgie.
But here is Rubio with Little Georgie on, I guess, this is Good Morning America, and laying out that The objectives are going to be completed in a matter of weeks, not months.
First of all, it's important to remember the objectives of this operation from the very beginning. We are destroying Iran's Navy. We are destroying their ability to their missile launchers by a significant percentage. We're going to wipe out their defense industrial base, meaning their ability to make new missiles and new drones in the future, because it poses a great threat to the region. This Iran that you're seeing now, this is Iran at its weakest point. Imagine them 2 years from now if they had thousands of more missiles, thousands of more missile launchers and factories to make even more. That was an unacceptable risk. It needed to be addressed, and President Trump is addressing it. Now, they are making threats about controlling the Hormuz Straits in perpetuity, creating a tolling system and the like. That's not going to be allowed to happen. And the president has a number of options available to him if he so chooses to prevent that from happening. Obviously, I'm not going to discuss what those options are, and we're not going to discuss military tactics. The Department of War would be in charge of those things. I'd refer you to them, but obviously they're not going to discuss it with you either. But there is a way forward here to achieve our objectives. We are going to achieve our objectives in a matter of weeks, not months.
I love it. Listen, he is sharp. He really
Rubio is sharp.
He's outstanding.
There's no doubt about that. It's just, again, this is going to be the replay for Good Friday. And if you're listening to this now on Friday,
that's right.
You got to wonder, are these clips you're playing on Monday here?
Yes.
Are they still relevant? Because, is it could that same statement work just as well on the Monday of Holy Week as well as Good Friday? Weeks, not months. We're about to get a deal. It's all these. Yeah, we're on the cusp of it. We're working it out.
In the military, we have a term. It's called OBE. That's Oscar Bravo Echo. It's overtaken by events. So we have a meeting on Monday, and then we're talking together Thursday, and it's like, oh, and Troy, did you know about it? I go, what do you mean? You go, oh, that's OBE. It's been overtaken by events. It changed. So I'm going to guess there'll be change.
Well, here's Rubio justifying more of the action.
The president makes is he prefers diplomacy. As I said, those efforts are nascent. There is messages being relayed back and forth, some conversations going on, including through intermediaries, and he always prefers that. Look, if the Iranian regime had come forward at any point in the past and said, we're going to walk away from our nuclear ambitions, we're going to do nuclear energy the way every other country in the world, primarily almost every other country in the world does it, and that is through a peaceful means in which you bring in the fuel and it's supervised and so forth. We're going to stop supporting terrorist groups across the region. Look at this region. Every single terrorist group in this region has a link to the Iranian regime. Every single one. The Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Shia militias that are attacking everyone out of Iraq. Every single one of these groups and all the destabilization in this region tracks directly back to the Iranian regime. Those things have to be addressed. And if Iran had been willing to address those in the past, we wouldn't be having this interview on this topic right now.
Nope, we wouldn't. But as you said earlier, they don't seem to want to play ball. We got to hit this top of the hour break. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump told reporters on board Air Force One yesterday that the U.S. is negotiating directly and indirectly with Iran. Iran has insisted it has not been in any talks with Washington. Earlier, Iran's parliament speaker dismissed the talks Pakistan is trying to arrange as cover to get more U.S. troops into the area. Spain has closed its airspace to U.S. planes involved in the Iran war. It marks another step in the country's opposition to the U.S. and Israel's conflict in the Middle East. U.S. stocks have been swinging upward today amid some de-escalating tensions in the war with Iran, but it's also a mixed bag. Right now, the Dow is still up by 156 points, but the Nasdaq is back into negative territory. It's up by 90 points at this hour, and the S&P 500 back down as well. It's off by about 4 points. More on these stories at srnnews.com.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Temperatures are warming up this week. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower 80s today with a good bit of sunshine. Partly cloudy, down to 59 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we are in the middle 80s. As March ends and April begins, there could be an isolated shower or storm on Tuesday afternoon, but a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. 5 of the 6 suspects in the deadly Sweet 16 party shooting in Dadeville have made plea agreements. All 5 suspects in the deadly 2023 mass shooting pled guilty to 3 counts of reckless murder. As part of the plea agreement, each defendant will serve just 5 years in prison for the murder charges. The 6th suspect was given youthful offender status. Alabama State University's head basketball coach Tony Madlock announced Sunday he is stepping down after 4 years. The Hornets finished the season 20-16 overall and 12-6 in the SWAC. Under Coach Madlock, ASU earned the program's first NCAA tournament victory. Alabama State now begins the search for a new head basketball coach. Montgomery firefighters battled a house fire not far from the governor's mansion Sunday morning. The fire was reported just after 4 a.m. at a single-story home on Wade Street. Fire rescue units were able to contain the major fire to the attic of the house with no injuries reported. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here in the River region, thousands of hardworking folks will be buying a home, some for the first time. How do you know you are buying the right home? It starts with research. A buyer's agent can help you in your search, providing a list of homes you may not be aware of or know about. At the same time, a meeting with a local lender to find out exactly what you qualify for and how much it will cost at closing and monthly. A list of needs and wants provided to your agent will help them locate properties that match those needs. An example would be bedrooms, baths, school zones, floor plan requests will also help. Start shopping and look at homes and compare and make a list of pluses and minuses for each home. Compare them with your agent to narrow the field. After you work out the contract, appraisals and inspections come next, and then the closing. For more details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883. That's 221-2883.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with us. And again, this will be the replay for Good Friday. So we're on Monday of the Holy Week. And I want to go back to this story I just ran across this morning. And this is Kayleigh McEnany interviewing a fella on Fox News. Okay. A U.S. Air Force veteran, Chase DeMayo.
DeMayo?
Yeah. Does he know?
I'll find out.
But let's listen into this story. Something happened to him when he was only 19 years old. And, so I was telling you off air without going into details. I think a lot of this is realer than real. But let's listen into this gentleman.
Chase, what did Jesus say to you?
He said, first of all, it's an honor to be here, Kayleigh. He said to go back and remember why you're here on earth is to be happy and find joy in the little moments and spread light, laughter, and love. And
yes, when he was just 19, he was found unconscious at Langley Air Force Base in 2008 and rushed to the hospital. Moments later, he flatlined. What he saw next changed his life forever, which was Jesus.
And even though it sounds cliche and it's what a lot of people say, it's such a simple message that we could be living every day, no matter your circumstance.
And you saw it flatline. And from what I understand, you were transported to a different hospital where you woke up. You saw this flatline happen, and the nurses are going crazy all around you. And the person stroking your left arm, you looked over and they were not there. Do you believe that was Jesus?
I absolutely do believe it was Jesus. It was such a calming presence while all of this chaos was happening. It was an air embolism that, air got in my vein and was traveling slowly up. In my mind, it felt slow, of course, a painful death, if you will. And so this calm presence of stroking my arm was just, it was exactly what I needed during that pain and that chaos and the doctors and nurses and the alarms and the beeping. And sure enough, when I turned over to my left, nobody was there. There was not even room for anybody to be to the left of me because there was a wall right there with the monitor, directly to the left of my head.
Chase, I was listening to your story last night and it made me smile because I read, you still get goosebumps when you talk about this. You go to the top of the room, you go upward when you flatline, you have this feeling of love. You could have felt it a million times. You can't describe it. And then you describe the colors you have never seen in this garden. We don't have colors like that here. That is almost a verbatim quote from what Gabe Perot told me, who had a similar experience. You're different people. You don't know each other. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, the experience is, it's hard to explain because I don't think we have the proper words here to explain the vibrancy and the love and the colors and that joyful feeling. I'm here in Orlando, Florida, so for me, my chest felt like ice water, on a hot summer day where your chest just feels like it's this cooling sensation. And you did say it's really cool that all of these people, there's just near-death experiences everywhere in the world. And there's actually an organization, International Association of Near-Death Studies, which is like a safe place kind of for people that have these experiences to go to, especially veterans. You can imagine the amount of veterans that probably have this and feel like they're going to be judged, or people are going to think they're crazy for sharing it. So it's kind of an organization that allows people to kind of share these stories and feel a bit more comfortable with this, profound experience they have.
I love hearing your story. And when you spoke to Jesus, it was like talking to a friend. You knew you had to go back, and you knew that you would see him again. And you knew instinctually, immediately, that who you were looking at was Jesus Christ.
Amen.
So Chase is he's got his own website. He's a speaker. And very interesting. I'm going to find out if he has any connection with Colonel DeMeo. Probably not, but
well, that is not the most usual last name.
It isn't. It's a good Italiano name. But hey, man, he's up there right now eating cannolis. I know he is. But I have to share this with you, and it just moved on me. I didn't really give it much thought. But yesterday, I went into town over to Ann Street, and I was going to go run by Walmart, and there was a gentleman that was outside. I could tell he was down. He was out, and first thing I do is check, make sure I got my weapon right, and I get out, and I've already got my heart's already hardened. I say, try it, just try it, try me, and something just, and I'm not telling you this for anything. When God moves on you, you need to do what He's directing you to do. And I talked to him. He had just moved from Miami. His wife was with me. He's trying to get work. He's down, and I gave him what money I had cash on me, which wasn't a terrible lot, but I just thought to myself, and I stopped and I said, listen now, God brought you this far. Don't think that He's going to let you flounder. And he looks at me, cocks his head. I said, do you understand what I'm saying? And I prayed with him, and he said, you're the second person that's talked to me about my spirituality right now. I said, now is when you need Him. I said, go seek Him out. And I told him, I said, if you need a ride, he goes, I will. Whether or not that left a mark on him, but I ministered to him just like you minister every day, and that's what you do. Christ commands us to go out to the least of them for the greatest of the Father. So,
amen.
Yeah, I felt good about it. I felt we connected. We hugged, and I prayed with him, and he said, "Thank you." In his eyes, I could see, yeah.
Yeah, and especially the homeless we have around here. Now, there are a few that are kind of notorious. The one lady who's up and down Carmichael with her grocery cart full of stuff, and you feel for her. And Happy, what I usually go to is try to have water on me.
Yep.
And hand out water to folks
Absolutely.
that can sort of encounter me. But I appreciate you sharing that.
Well, just I did it, and I didn't think about it. And but what struck me is my heart was hard when I did it. I'm like, come on, let's go.
Softened all.
And then I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Right.
I don't have no. Yeah. God bless.
No, you can if you're tuned to it, folks, and you seek it. It certainly is something that you can respond to and answer the call. Now, I know you're a big fan of the Japanese, right?
Listen, I've got some bad news for you. Have you started JJK?
No, I haven't.
Well, guess what? They're only doing 12 episodes this season, and they're going to split it and start it again in December. So you're going to be very disappointed. We got to get with Trump. We're going to have to maybe drop a couple more nuclear bombs and say, you will bring us JJK for the duration.
Yeah, give us more entertainment. But actually, this is, I saw Jack Posobiec retweet this, saying, from Captain S.O. on X, saying, to my American friends, I want to speak from the heart because this moment truly moved me as a Japanese citizen. When President Trump made that Pearl Harbor joke, it wasn't just humor to us. It felt like a weight I'd carried my whole life was suddenly lifted. My chest tightened, and honestly, tears came close. For 80 long years, we Japanese have lived under a heavy shadow, the constant expectation to apologize, to reflect, to stay in guilt mode, quote unquote.
Yep.
Even though we're the closest of allies, that old wound never fully healed. We felt bound by the past, by the Constitution America helped write for us, always a little smaller, always needing to prove we were sorry enough. But in that single joke, Trump did something powerful. He turned a painful history into a shared laugh between equals. It was like he was saying, hey, it was a long time ago, we're good, let's move forward as brothers. No more endless atonement, no more living in the shadow of being the former enemy. The curse broke. Japan feels free to stand tall again. Right now, cherry blossoms are blooming beautifully all across Japan. This spring, the sakura feels like a perfect symbol of fresh beginning. No two nations stuck in old roles, but true equals, proud brothers, shoulder to shoulder, ready to build the future together. To the American people, we don't want to be subordinates forever. We want to be your real partner, strong, proud, and loyal, the kind of allies who ride or die together. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, America.
That's awesome.
The strongest alliance in the world is rising again as equals, as brothers, forever.
That's awesome.
And by the way, this new prime minister over there in Japan.
Oh, she's sharp, man.
Yeah, there's no kidding
Japan
around.
is back. She said it in a bad broken.
Yeah, no, and you're seeing more and more of that, to where I'm sure the Chinese love that.
I can tell you this, as a warrior, I respect the Bushido and the code of their they are, unlike the Germans who had been neutered and actually got fat and soft, the Japanese, they're chomping at the bit. They want to get back into a formidable fighting force, and they are. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with there.
Yeah, and by the way, seeing something breaking that apparently NATO intercepts Iranian ballistic missiles fired at Turkey.
Sure.
It's coming from
They're
Fox.
actually going to Cyprus, though.
Oh,
what
okay.
they're doing, they're firing over there. They're aiming at Cyprus, but they're getting shot down over Turkey.
Why are they going for Cyprus? Because
British.
The British have
British
aircraft
protectorate.
there?
It's a British protectorate.
Oh, just because it's British.
They're supporting America, supposedly.
Okay.
They're waging a war against anyone, including the Gulf Arab states, that are supporting or tacit in supporting the Trump administration in this fight. So they fired at Diego Garcia, another British protectorate, with them. If they could hit one of those, it would be a major media thing for them, but I don't think they will.
Again, 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation this day. It's kind of quiet on the phone.
It is.
It's 334-272-9228. Let's see if I can find something here. Apparently, Press Secretary Kayleigh Mackin, or no, that's the old press secretary.
The old one.
Caroline Leavitt.
Right.
Yeah, you can confuse with the blondes and stuff.
No,
Kayleigh and Caroline are very different.
Yes.
Both start with a K, but very different people. But she is kind of laying out that Iran, well, shouldn't reject this golden opportunity, if that makes any sense. Let's listen into this together, if I can get the set up to play. Here we go.
Truly once-in-a-generation opportunity for the regime to make a good deal with the United States, permanently abandon their nuclear ambitions, and stop acting as the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. If the Iranians reject this golden opportunity, the greatest military in the history of the world continues to stand by to provide President Trump with every option available to ensure this regime continues to pay a grave price. One way or another, Iran will no longer have the credible ability to threaten the United States or our allies, which is, of course, the overall objective and mission the president set out when he launched Operation Epic Fury.
So laying it down officially, but a lot of folks wondering, well, why are we getting mixed messages from you two?
I think a lot of that, in my opinion, and I wrote on this, as you know, last week, and my thought is this: they know the folly of expecting Iran to do anything in compliance that could be enforced, because their demands are equally are hard for, I think, the United States to meet on the terms. But here's what I do think. I think that Trump is a master at being in charge at all times by saying, oh, we're making progress. Mm-hmm. Well, he's in charge. He's telling the narrative. But you hear the Iranian side saying it's a sign of weakness that he's saying this because we haven't agreed to anything.
Well, and here is Caroline Leavitt addressing one of those, that exact question.
Thanks, Caroline. You addressed this a little bit in the opening, but just to follow up, because Americans are sort of seeing these conflicting messages between the United States and Iran. I know the president insists that negotiations are underway. As you just mentioned, he's also said that Iran has agreed to most of the 15 points. We just heard from Iran again. They're saying no negotiations are taking place. They're calling the proposal excessive, unrealistic. So how do you square that? How do you explain that discrepancy between the two?
I think the American people are smart enough not to take the word of a terrorist regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years at their word. And I hope the journalists in this room are wise enough not to take an Iranian regime that has repeatedly lied about our country, about our values, about everyone in this room, frankly, for nearly 5 decades. So I think the American public are smart enough to understand that.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah, as you just said.
But the question is the American populace, the body citizen, in this country understand the narrative, because when you've got a leftist, woke, globalist media of the established media out there still spinning that story, it perpetuates. But I've said this before, Joey, and I believe this. America is comprised of what I call the silent majority. It's you, me, it's the guy down the street, it's Sky, it's all the different people we know. But we don't have that voice in the media. So there's always this disparity between what we're being told and what really is going on. So
we got to hit a break first. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, if you're a felon, you're just feeling awful, like not like yourself, not like a man. Feeling wiped out when you wake up, like your sleep is all off. Your waistline's starting to creep. You're losing muscle mass. Your bedroom confidence is slipping. Like you have no libido to speak of, or maybe you got that ED problem, as folks call it these days. And, if you feel this way, other people are noticing, especially she is noticing in the bedroom. Maybe she's being nice about it, but you're not the only one dealing with this. No reason to feel shame. Indeed, treat it as a problem that actually is fairly common, especially when guys start to get older. Now, you're not alone in this, and so whether it's ED or just low testosterone in general, Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro, is ready to help you out. Their men's performance clinic here, been serving the Montgomery and surrounding areas for years now. They provide in-person care, so you're not dealing with like a chat bot. You're like, is this even a doctor on the other end? Not the online pill. It's in-person care, and they get blood work labs done quickly. And with urology-backed medicine, they can create for you a personalized treatment plan, and they have a whole menu of options there for what kind of treatments, depending on what is bedeviling you. And, there are a lot of folks, in their 50s, they've been feeling down, and now, after treatment at Montgomery Men's Health, they feel decades younger. Or it could be you're a young man in your 20s or 30s, and you just don't feel the energy. Well, feel your age. Get by Montgomery Men's Health. You can always make an appointment. Just call them direct at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. That's Montgomery Men's Health for every man in every season of life. Be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
"2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
When your tax refund comes, put it on the floor and walk on it. Revitalize the look and feel of your home with new floors from Prattville Carpet. With faster and better service than the big box stores and luxury vinyl planks starting as low as $4.99 per square foot. You'll enjoy that tax refund turned flooring every single day.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Dial 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now let's move to something local, to the state of Alabama. State Senator Arthur Orr's out there touting a massive number of Alabama school choice program applicants. Apparently, school choice is all the rage. Of course, Senator Orr does a regular thing with Dale Jackson up there in Hunts Vegas. As he says, now the bill is now pending in the Senate. This is legislation that would allocate additional funding to school choice purposes and programs. The bill is now pending in the Senate, said Orr. The House basically just ratified what Governor Ivey had recommended in her proposed budget, so it will fully fund 2 years of the CHOOSE Act. As you know, that's those with a percentage of poverty cap, as far as those that would be eligible in year 2. But after year 2, that cap comes off, and then it just up to how much will be appropriated. How much will the governor and legislature appropriate to that program? And as we appropriate that, depending on those dollars, how much they are, that would presumably, the cap, the 350% poverty would float up or could float back down just based on the appropriation amount. Or noted the massive number of applicants hoping to enroll in the Alabama school choice program. Right now, last week's numbers, Orr said, I'll get a new number today. The amount was around 187 million in applications. That doesn't mean they've all been validated and that they're able to get the funding, because their income may not meet the income cap and they just may not be eligible. But applications were at 187 million right now. Governor Ivey put a $250 million in her budget request, so there's plenty of money there. Of course, that's 187 million in applicant money that might be allocated. Orr went on to conclude, I'm sure we'll have some here in the last few days, Tuesday being the last day for people to apply. The CHOOSE Act makes refundable income tax credits called education savings accounts available to support eligible K-5 through 12 students for specific expenditures. And keeping on this topic, there is a op-ed by Nick Limberakis, trending on 1819 News, about how educational freedom changed my son's life. Now, I'm not familiar with Nick, but he writes, in today's world, political noise often drowns out the voices of the people most affected by public policy decisions. There's no better example than parental rights and school choice. I am not a politician or a political insider. I'm a parent, and I know firsthand the difference that having alternative education options in Alabama has made in my son's life. Like all parents, Nick writes, I want to give my son the best chance to thrive and succeed. I'm a combat veteran who served our nation for 16 years. And today I work as a scuba diving instructor, an underwater criminal investigator. Okay, this guy sounds awesome. Underwater criminal investigator?
Do you think they use a magnifying glass, or is their lens magnified, do you think?
Yeah, but he specializes in, there's bodies in the river?
Pond forensics.
Life has taught me that people are not all the same, and a cookie-cutter approach rarely works for everyone.
True.
Every child has different needs. For many students, traditional schooling may be the best option. But for others, like my son, having alternative options is critical. Throughout his life, John, and this is Nick's son, John has struggled with social separation anxiety, SSA. It made it nearly impossible for him to succeed in a traditional school setting, and as his father, I knew I had to make a change. John did not fit the standard model. He needed something different, a different educational approach. Thankfully, I learned about the Alabama Virtual Academy, ALVA. In 2019, I decided to enroll him in ALVA, and it was one of the best decisions I have ever made. Now a ninth grader, he has a completely different outlook on life and his future. I watched a young child, once paralyzed by fear, become a young man determined to invest in his own future. What was once an obstacle, he now sees as an opportunity. I am asking our policymakers and educational leaders to look beyond the headlines, partisan politics, and funding battles. Education is not about institutions. It is about preparing the next generation to thrive in the real world. Like every generation before it, today's students do not need a one-size-fits-all approach forced upon them. The difference is that in 2026, we now have the technology and understanding to offer real alternatives. Amen, Nick. No student should fall through the cracks. Thanks to ALVA, we found an educational path that works for my son. In years past, he might have become another statistic. Instead, we found a way forward. Despite the challenges he has faced, John continues to overcome them one by one. Soon he will begin dual enrollment courses and continue building his future. I served in combat zones fighting for our country. Today I stand with parents who are fighting for the freedom to make the best decisions for their children. Parental rights and educational freedom are more than buzzwords. They are bigger than politics. Without alternative education options, countless students would be left behind. I am grateful every day that my son was not one of them. And I guess it's Nick Limberakis is a retired combat veteran, scuba diving instructor, and underwater criminal
That's neat.
investigator. And I thought that was a great, straightforward op-ed right there. Especially, like, you got a parent that cares. And this actually shows in a lot of your studies of, like, kids' outcomes. It doesn't matter as much how rich or how poor you are, but how much of your time and how much of your income, even if your income's not much, but a percentage of whatever your income is, how much of that is going towards your kid's education. And that usually signals, including folks that are having a hard time making ends meet, usually signals the kid's going to do pretty well because it shows an activated parent who's really focused and kind of living in that kid's life. And that's worth more than any bit of money. Now, of course, having the money allocated so people can freely choose to go to a different type of school or do homeschooling, which I think is also a great option for especially married couples that can make that work. It's really, I think, in this day and age, I love that Nick's point about the technology and just we seem to be stuck with particular institutions that have no incentive to change or no incentive to innovate. And so why not, especially for the kids on the margins that need it, speed that up with freedom and choice?
Well, you know, what's funny is I was looking at our property taxes. We got about 15 acres down in Pitwalla area. And I think our taxes are less than $1,000. And I'm thinking, no wonder there's no wonder the schools are terrible here. Well, no, think about that. All right. Think about that. In Ohio, that cost you probably $9,000, $10,000.
Oh, I've had plenty of people who aren't from here say they're ridiculously
crazy.
low.
But here's the thing about it is sort of like our friend Catherine that was in the other day running for the assistant the deputy AG. She said, we've got schools still operating under civil rights segregation stuff. That's got to get cleaned up, man.
Oh, yeah, man. By the way, the top trending story still there at AT&T News. We brought it up on Friday. Is that the city of Montgomery paid $243,530 to a Louisiana private security company on March the 10th, despite the Montgomery City Council considering terminating the contract at a recent meeting. That's crazy. You better be able, if they do terminate it, you better be able to claw back the money, given that this company hasn't done anything in the city. That's why they're reconsidering removing and pulling back the contract, because y'all haven't mobilized at all. What? And I think it's like only 5 or 6 employees, and what a mess, man.
So, hey, I wanted to share something with you. Admiral Davis and I were talking the other day, and the article I did on the picture and the downtown Veterans Resource Center. One of the things that we did not know at the time, and we just found out after the fact, it was reported to us from a very reliable source. It's close to that operation. The reason now we believe that Alabama Power was involved was the young lady who was selected to run the facility, who is not a veteran, who was fired from her position in veterans advocacy over at the University of Alabama for being intoxicated on the job. Her dad is on the board of trustees at Alabama Power, so I'm going to be doing something else on that. But none of this surprises me, what we read and what we see. The city will operate on the margins, and you said it best. You looked into it. You said, wait a minute, this has already been sole sourced. That contract was sole sourced, Joey.
Right.
That was hand delivered to them.
No, and Caleb Taylor did that follow-up reporting on it, and it's a good job to Caleb. And it's just shaking my head because, especially as I'm trying to, get right with God, I think sometimes I've been too harsh on the city, and then in other ways I haven't been harsh enough, if that makes any sense, that I want Montgomery to succeed. And what I continue to see is in theory, not bad ideas, but the execution is always, almost always just kind of miserable. I'm like, what are we even doing here? Like, if you want it to be a new Montgomery, great. Like, I'm tempted to, I've been sitting on this for a while. I'm tempted to write an op-ed about all you people that moved. Be quiet or move back if you really want Montgomery to do better.
True.
Like, there is definitely an audience out there, and I'm not just talking about you great folks in Otago and Elmore, but around the state that love to see negative Montgomery stories.
Yeah, there is. You know,
and part of me is like, well, then why don't y'all join us here and try to work for the better instead of just eating your popcorn? But, you know, people are free and can do what they want. But it's some of that's a little frustrating.
It's very strange.
So I want the city to succeed, but when I see, like, just also we could go down the litany of problems here. What a mess. That said, we do have a lot of great assets, and if we can start rowing in the right direction with sound leadership, I think we'll be fine. Anyway, got to hit this next break. First, this entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage.
Yeah.
And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon. Well, they're ready to help you with whether you're looking to buy a home, purchase a home, or refinance that current home. You know, if you're looking for money, it could be hiding in plain sight, not in your savings account, not in the stock market, right under your roof. Apparently, homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity. And, of course, veterans out there.
It's a great program.
They often think, well, because of the health care system of the VA, well, the VA mortgage must be the same screwy system. No, the VA mortgage works great.
Outstanding.
And some folks have this idea, like, I used it once, so I don't. What are you talking about?
Unlimited.
Don't just listen to your buddies, which is always good to get together with your fellow veterans, but don't just listen to your buddies. Call up the pros there at Alabama Home Mortgage. They know the latest with the VA mortgage programs, and it remains one of the strongest home financing options, offering benefits like no down payment for purchases or 100% cash out refinances.
That's not even just for Alabama, is it, Joey? You can do that up in Tennessee. I think.
Alabama Home Mortgage is licensed in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee.
It's amazing.
See, y'all check them out today. At least start the conversation. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Don't use those cheap online calculators. Call a great local company there at Alabama Home Mortgage at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
The employees of Adams Drugs would like to thank you for trusting us with your health care in 2025. We look forward to serving you and your family in 2026. You will continue to enjoy the same services such as immunizations, compounding, medication therapy management, delivery service, and wellness clinics, to name a few. Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Visit our Emily B. gift shop and find everything from Tyler candles to scout bags. Gift wrapping is available. If you have not visited Adams Drugs and experienced the award-winning customer service, we ask you to consider us for your prescription care in 2026. We have 12 convenient locations to serve you in the River Region. 8 in Montgomery, 1 in Wetumpka, Prattville, Millbrook, and Pine Level, Marbury. Please find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill.
My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This is Jennifer Pestricelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. We're home to 7 radio stations at a rapidly expanding digital marketing platform, and we're looking for our next great sales professional. At Blue Water, you'll build customized campaigns that include radio and targeted digital marketing solutions. You'll prospect new clients, manage your own accounts, and work in a fast-paced, creative environment. Media or digital sales experience is a plus. Send your resume to jobs@bluewaterbroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Go to work for a family that puts God and family first. Wiley Sanders is looking for experienced dump truck drivers. Call them today, 855-777-9785. Drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Lines and be part of the family.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Temperatures are warming up this week. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower 80s today with a good bit of sunshine. Partly cloudy, down to 59 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we are in the middle 80s. As March ends and April begins, there could be an isolated shower or storm on Tuesday afternoon, but a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, the future governor of Alabama, unless I guess some legal thing, Hail Mary play, they're running, and it's going to try to take out Coach Tuberville as the next governor of Alabama. Maybe. We'll see. I doubt. But here's Coach laying out his NIL bill. Like, I know he's been working on this for a little while.
Yeah.
And so let's hear out the man. I believe this is at a recent committee hearing. He's looking to save college sports.
Yes.
Let's listen in to Senator Tuberville.
Huge problems in a lot of areas. This year we will have 10,000 football players at all levels sign up for the transfer portal. 10,000.
Wow.
5,000 men and women basketball players will sign up for the transfer portal. I just want to go through this. I've got a bill I put up. Probably won't get enough support to pass, but we have to start somewhere. We're all talking about NCAA, which has been a disaster, by the way, after 35 years of dealing with them. They're a big part of the problem, but it seems like we can't solve that problem. So at the end of the day, the issue to me is pretty simple. Okay, the question is whether we still believe student athletes are supposed to be students at the end of the day. I'm all for athletes being paid every dime that they can get. Please go out there and raise your money and take every dime people want to pay you. I'm all for that. I've always said that. As you said, I forget who said it, but it is a full-time job. My God, sports is full-time. Meetings, weightlifting, study halls, you name it. I did it 35 years, and I couldn't believe that we weren't paying student athletes, but that's behind us. Young man and woman has worked hard and has earned that opportunity they ought to be able to benefit from this opportunity. We don't even talk about scholarships anymore. My God, that's what we used to talk about. Now we talk about money. The system is so far away from educated, it's embarrassing. College athletes are starting to look more like a pathway, less like a pathway to agree, and more like a revolving door, as I said, of all this transfer. Athletes are bouncing from school to school, chasing the next deal. We all know that. They're not paying taxes on that next deal either, by the way, and that's the next thing that's coming. They ought to be concerned. It ought to concern everybody, because for overwhelming majority of these young men and women, sports will not last forever if we continue down this path. 98% of the young men and women who go to college do not play pro sports. We need to get away from that. The future is going to depend on the education part of going to school. If you want to play NFL or pros, go get it done. But if you want to learn something, in which 98% of the thousands of kids I coach that got a degree thank me all the time. Thank you for making me go to class. This week I'm introducing the Student Athlete Act. I mean, we all got problems. Collective bargaining. We don't get enough health care and all that. Hey, we're going to have those problems. This bill that I'm putting out is a basic idea. If it's going to cause problems with somebody, but at the end of the day, we got to start somewhere, folks, or we're going to lose it. We're going to lose Olympic sports. We're going to lose women's sports because there's not going to be any money. It's going to be club sports. I got news for y'all. It's coming. The money's not going to be there. You can forget about Title IX. You can have all the lawsuits you want. If the money's not there, it's not there. The money's going to go to athletes that get on television. So, student athletes, to me, should have a 5-year window. You start, you got 5 years. I'm sick of these 28, 29-year-olds playing in a young person's sport and taking your money. I'm sick of that.
I'm sick of that.
5 years to play. No waivers, no excuses. Once you start, you go 5 years. At the end of that 5 years, you go and do whatever you need to do the rest of your life. It's pretty simple. I mean, you can get a degree in those 5 years. If you transfer one time, the likelihood of you getting a degree is almost zero.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Unless you want to go to school
that's
7,
damning.
8 years and pay for a lot of that yourself. So I'm for a 1-year transfer. One time, you get it, freebie. If your coach leaves, somebody happens in your family, you transfer. After that, you pay the penalty of what we used to do. You transfer, you set a year. But you got a 1-year transfer. 1 year. Folks, we can't do this transfer portal. If we do it, we're going to, as I said, we're going to lose men's sports, women's sports, and we're going to have just a couple out there that's going to be on television, and that is it. And there's not going to be any scholarships. So I don't have a lot of, can I ask a couple questions while I'm at it? Ms. Lynch, my bill would solve the issue pretty quick in terms of transferring, but is it realistic for somebody to transfer and get a degree?
Thank you so much for your question, Senator Tupperville. Also, War Eagle. I would say that the realistic capability of a student to transfer and still get a degree, it depends where they transfer. Obviously, we deal with quarter schools and semester schools in the Big Ten, and that is a really complex thing in terms of transferring credits, academic progress towards degree. Also, the timing of transfer portals isn't always the most helpful. Like the football transfer portal is now January 2nd to January 16th, and that sits right in the middle of when quarter schools start their new semester. Yeah. And that's really problematic for getting student athletes, particular football, student athletes enrolled in their next institution, which really puts them back academically. So transferring does inhibit academic progress, especially when you're transferring multiple times.
I think great points all around.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll look exactly like what Coach is trying to lay out there because it'll go through the Senate and the House and all this
It'll
other
get
stuff.
butchered, I'm sure, but yeah.
But generally speaking, like the idea of paying people is one thing, but this system seems to be ripping apart what college athletics has been for a long, especially football's been for a long, long time. Let's go to Duke real quick. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
How's it going, fellas?
Hey, Duke.
Now, sitting here listening to this, what about the coaches? Let's start with the coaches now. Tuberville for one, and Saban for another that never turned down a raise, you know. And I think not Saban, but Tuberville didn't he leave a couple of places before time?
Oh,
and,
sure,
and
man.
took other jobs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
He did. He was also 6-0 against Alabama.
Yeah, but Duke, I can already anticipate the response is going to be they're grown men.
You know, that's priceless for a War Eagle. If you beat Alabama, that still keep you. Well, they should keep you forever.
They're grown men at the top of the pyramid of the org chart. So, like, you know.
Alpha.
Didn't he leave Ole Miss to come to Auburn?
Yeah, I was there when I was there, and I got Ed Ogeron after that, and that was terrible. He said, "I'll never leave. The only way they can get me out of here is in a pine box." He said.
So why didn't he stay for in his contract? You know, so his contract term was up.
Because he's a grown man and he can do what he wants.
You know, he went to the University of Cincinnati
He's probably through the grown men too now.
I do know this, guys. That when he was at, I do know this, guys. When he went to the University of Cincinnati, it's because his wife was from Cincinnati and her mom was sick, and he wanted to be there, so he did that. He did choose that job. But yeah, I don't know about the others.
But you know. But old Nicky Boy, back to Nicky Boy now. Old Nicky Boy never turned down a raise at Alabama. When another coach at another school got a penny more than him, old Nick had a mouth job.
Most favored nation, baby.
So you know, but all of a sudden these little young cats making a few dollars, you know, get the education. Shit. Which one you want in your hand? $1 million NIL money, or a damn a piece of paper saying that you went to college and studying why tadpole pissing water, you know?
Why did you study that? I think the idea here, Duke, is why not both?
That's funny.
Like, pick a school, pick a place that's going to pay you well, and also get an education. So it's not just a money grab.
Let my grandson get able, and people throwing money at him like that, I'm supposed to get that money, boy. You buy you a school somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't know. The jumping around it's
starting.
I know,
it's dangerous. And you also know with these young cats, if they get all this money at such a young age, they aren't always getting the best financial advice if they're getting any at all.
I know that, but the coaches started this mess, George. Now the coaches started this mess. The one at LSU, the last coach that they fired down there, how much they paid that cat to come down there? He was the highest man paid, and Saban got mad about it.
Yeah.
No, not Wayne, not Lane, the other one before then.
Oh, before him? I don't even know.
What's the boy?
Who are we talking about?
The guy before Lane at LSU?
Oh, that was It was Hugh Freeze was there before, and then another guy between Ogeron.
No, the guy. What's that guy's name?
I don't know. Oh yeah, I do know.
Off somewhere.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he did. Where did he go?
He must have been so successful since we can all remember his name.
The one before Lane, before Lane got there.
Yeah. The one right before it, I don't remember. And I'm an Ole Miss alumni, I should, but let me tell you, they never were good in football when I was there, and they recently got good, but you got to wonder what Hugh Freeze was doing to get good there.
Well, anyway.
You know, so at least few of them get fired, you know, at least Auburn coaches get fired, you know.
Yeah, unreal expectations on this, guys.
They don't just leave, you know.
You know what I had somebody tell me, Joey, and Duke, the worst thing to ever happen to Auburn was to win a national championship. Now they expect it every year.
Apparently Chisholm got the big head after he got a little lazy about it. Anyway, I gotta run. And maybe it's all our fault for liking football too much. That's why all the money's in it. Anyway,
I love it.
We've got to hit this break. Hopefully get Michael Cohen on the other side.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Joey. How are you?
I'm better than I deserve. Tell us about the Cohen's experience today.
Well, I tell you, there's so many things that people come in here to buy, like appliances, and they're really unaware that we sell grills. We carry a line by MHP, which is what the gas company used to sell. That's the ones that are on so many people's homes that are sitting on a podium in the backyard. We also sell the Traeger grills for the guy that loves pellets. We sell the Napoleon for the guy that loves gas. And we sell the Kamado Joe for the guy that wants to be old school and do some smoking.
All right. And 'tis the season as it gets more tolerable outside and like start smoking up a big old like Boston butt or some ribs or a whole brisket. I mean, all sorts of options out there. And of course, grilling too. Well, like I immediately went to the smoking, but like to cook a big old steak on a charcoal grill ain't bad.
No, that's great. I mean, you've got some places. Their name escapes me, but La Jolla.
Mm-hmm.
They use something like a Kamado Joe grill when they grill their stuff. When you order steak there, so there's a lot to be said for the way that it works. There's no right or wrong way to grill. Everybody's got their own opinion, whether they like pellet gas or charcoal. And, a lot of people have more than one option, for whenever they want to do their Boston butts. They got the Kamado, and everything else they're doing on a pellet grill or either a Kamado Joe. And then for the people that already have a grill like an MHP that's at their house, when it's time to replace it, they just come in and get another MHP because everything bolts right up.
There you go. So, folks, get by there, and all sorts of grilling accessories, too, you got there.
That's right. We've got a lot of the knives. We've got some grill cleaners, some of the rubs, the charcoal for the Kamado Joes. So, yeah, come by and see what we have, and let us help you with your grilling experience.
Of course, you can always look online at thinkcohens.com, but something like a grill, you got to go get your hands on it. Go see it with your own eye. They're 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and tell him you heard him on the radio with that Joey Clark fella.
That's right, that fella. He's kind of a nice guy. So, y'all come see us and let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Well, appreciate you, Michael. Talk again Wednesday.
Thank y'all.
Again, Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances there. So one more hour to go. Yeah. And there's a few things we haven't even touched on yet. Mike Rowe says young data center electricians. So people are talking about like these data centers. What's good of these data centers? Well, young data center electricians are making upwards of $260,000 a year with no college debt.
My friend Shane's listening out there. He's an electrician. He's telling me that there's lots of money being made in there.
A lot of money, and it's not just electricians. Like heating and cooling systems out there. Like there's all sorts of stuff.
Trade, man.
Damn, people can make some actual bank with a skilled trade.
Well, there's an old saying, Joey. Why is there a septic tank removal guy, a Blackwater guy? Because pick something that you do that someone needs done that does not want to do it themselves.
There you go. We got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says he has no problem with a tanker delivering oil to Cuba, if that's what it needs right now. The president was asked about whether or not he planned to protest the fact that Russia is delivering oil at a time when the U.S. has imposed an oil embargo. The people who toiled night and day to put astronauts on the moon during Apollo are thrilled that NASA is finally going back for the Artemis 2 mission. Most of those who took part in Apollo are now in their 80s and 90s. President Trump has threatened widespread destruction of Iran's energy resources and other vital infrastructure if a deal to end the war is not reached very shortly. Meanwhile, Tehran struck a key water and electrical plant in Kuwait, and an oil refinery in Israel came under attack as well. The TSA says most of its officers now receive most of their back pay for working during the government shutdown. This is SRN News.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here, host of the Mike Gallagher Show. As we head into spring, there's some good news in the housing market. Rates have recently dropped. When rates drop, payments can drop. That can mean hundreds of dollars a month back in your pocket, money you can use to pay bills, reduce debt, or strengthen your financial position. That's why this is the time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. They're helping homeowners refinance into lower rates and reduce their monthly mortgage payments. Fellowship also offers a fixed rate line of credit for home projects or consolidating a high interest debt with fast approval and a predictable rate. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. That's 2 months of breathing room while you reposition financially. I've used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Before you make your next move, go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 8193.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Temperatures are warming up this week. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower 80s today with a good bit of sunshine. Partly cloudy, down to 59 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we are in the middle 80s. As March ends and April begins, there could be an isolated shower or storm on Tuesday afternoon, but a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
Funeral arrangements are now set for the University of Alabama student James Gracie, who died in the country of Spain while on spring break. Gracie drowned in the waters along Barcelona after leaving a nightclub in the downtown area. Police do not believe that foul play was involved in Gracie's death, but are calling it a tragic accident. Gracie was from the state of Illinois. The visitation for his family is happening today, with prayer service this coming evening that will be live streamed. On Tuesday, funeral services will happen in Illinois at Visitation Catholic Church in Hillside. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
This week, the Mobile City Council will consider an ordinance on consumable hemp products. Local municipalities are allowed to make such changes regarding consumable hemp products, while a state law prohibits the sale of smokable hemp products throughout Alabama. The City Council will be voting on this issue on Tuesday, and should that ordinance be approved, then the City of Mobile will begin working on granting approval to applications coming from local businesses. Mobile Mayor Spiro Chiriogatis says he wants to see those who were selling this product legally before the state law was passed get back into business. Those businesses will have to comply with the city's operational regulations and zoning requirements for the sale of these hemp products. Police in Mobile are also searching for a suspect in 2 robberies that occurred this past Saturday. The suspect bit an employee at one location and brandished a knife at another. The robberies occurred on Schillinger Road. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If you're on a budget and trying to feed your family inexpensively, Pizza Perfect has the deal for you. In March, get a free 2-topping medium pizza with the purchase of any large pizza. Pizza Perfect's buffet includes pizza as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink, only $13. Buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Available for pickup and delivery as well. 2-topping medium pizza free with the purchase of any large pizza in March at Pizza Perfect, Coliseum Boulevard, Eastbrook.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. Now, again, I have decided not to work on Good Friday. And so this show here on the Monday of Holy Week will be the replay for Good Friday. And one gentleman I've been listening to, and there's a lot of people in this reversion, I would say, in this recent return to the faith of my childhood. There are many, many folks that I just have to give credit to, people that are living witnesses right in front of me who have been, friends and family members, and so many folks praying for me over the years, and folks that kept working at me. If you're out there listening, Papa B, thank you for that. But then, of course, you find just folks who have a gift with language and words. I would put Bishop Barron up there as a guy who's truly, talk about a vocational calling. But also, I'd put many different Protestants that maybe I don't fully agree with or whatnot, but they pulled me towards the faith and just their power with the language and sharing the gospel.
Sure.
And it's just happened slowly but surely over the years, and especially with the podcast world. I could be sitting there alone in the dark, maybe intoxicated. But I still started to feel the urge, the call to watch things that had more to do with religion.
Right.
And then you start hearing the gospel beautifully stated, beautifully said. I will always remember watching John MacArthur sitting there with Ben Shapiro on Ben Shapiro's Sunday show. And just him giving this powerful testimony, confessing the gospel to Shapiro about, essentially I am a Christian because of the Old Testament. And you can go back to the early church fathers. It's the same thing. But there's one voice in the last several months that has really moved me, named, of course, the Right Reverend Bishop Fulton Sheen. And, of course, Sheen did the Holy Hour TV show for the longest time, and he was a TV star, huge TV star.
Yeah, he unseated Milton Berle as a top spot there on the station. So, yeah.
And so there is one series, though, where it was the last 7 words of Christ on the cross. He also corresponds that to the words said to the cross by the onlookers. And he did a whole series on radio. So it added an element to me of listening to an old radio segment from 1944 in the midst of war. It was a radio called the Catholic Hour, but he would often appeal to Catholics, Protestants, and Jews in his radio broadcast. And obviously we don't have time to play all 7 speeches he gave on that radio program. But there's one that hit me right between the eyes in the last few months. The 5th word to the cross, a word to the moderns. So I want to play that now. Let's listen in together.
Monsignor Fulton J. Sheen has entitled today's Catholic Hour Talk, The 5th Word to the Cross, a word to the moderns. Monsignor Sheen.
Friends, the modern world is full of moderns. And by the moderns, we here understand those who believe in what they call moderation. They hate excesses, either of good or of evil. Compromise is the very essence of life. They have an open mind, so very open it can close on nothing. They are what the scriptures call lukewarm, but they prefer to call themselves broad. The moderns are good people by the standards of the world. They have their daughter married in a church where she was never baptized. They like Easter Sunday services, particularly the fashion parade which follows. In discussion, they feel that a pretty good case can be made out for the existence of some power behind the universe. They read about 7 books a year, all novels, chosen either because they were widely advertised or because their neighbors read them. They serve on hospital boards, parent-teachers associations, contribute to birth control clinics and Russian relief, but always within the 12% allowed by the income tax. They send their children to the best schools they can afford. They never send them to church, but they let them go to the movies twice a week. They take their politics from a radio commentator and their economics from a son who had just had a year of it under a Marxist professor in college. They think there are too many divorces, but after all, we're not living in the Middle Ages. They believe the majority is always right, that religion probably does add some sentiment and symbolism to life. They are what their neighbors call good people. Their words are correct, their manners courteous, they shrink from giving pain to others, they discountenance great crime, cursing and swearing to them are vulgar. They are our good moderns. What is the reaction of the moderns to the cross? Well, in order to understand how they would react, we need only go back to their ancestors, who addressed the 5th word to the cross. The gospel calls them bystanders. These original moderns, too, love their puns and their humor at the expense of religion. And the occasion for it was the 4th word of our Lord from the cross. My God, why hast thou abandoned me? It was spoken in Hebrew. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. The bystanders knew very well what those words meant. But to those who will to mock, it was a fine opportunity for a pun, pretending that they understood him to say Elias rather than God. They said, this man calleth Elias. Let us see whether Elias will come to deliver him. It was a typical attitude of many who think religion means something else than it actually does. Mistaking Elias for religion, religion for social service, contemplation for dreaming, mortification for morbidity, confession for psychoanalysis, and the papacy for politics. The dilettantes and the moderns always think we are calling on Elias when we are actually calling on God. Their very words indicated passivity, indifference, and false caution. For they said, let us see whether Elias will come to deliver him. Wait. Take your time. Do not do anything rash. Wait and see what the church does about Marxism. Maybe it will change its marriage laws. Do not be in a hurry to give your soul to God. Wait and see. They are always waiting for bargains in religion, but there are none. So our Lord answered them, not directly but indirectly. To the bystanders and the overcautious moderns, he gave the key to salvation. The need of fire for a cause that is as burning as thirst. For almost 3 hours now, he had remained bareheaded except for a crown of thorns under that burning, blinding sun, while from 4 fountains there poured out life in the form of blood. It was therefore natural for him to ask for a drink. He, the God-man, he who shut up the sea with doors when it did burst forth as issuing out of a womb. He who threw stars in their orbits and spheres into space. He who once stood up in the temple on the last day of a solemn feast and cried out in a loud voice, "If any man thirst, let him come to me and drink." Now he speaks, not to God, not to the executioners, not to his mother, but to man. And out from the depths of his sacred heart there wells the cry, "I thirst." While the bystanders were like ice, he was on fire. While they coursed in shallow streams, he launched out into the deep. While they stand by and wait, he plunges in that one cry through both fire and water. While the moderns are saying, "Let us wait and see," our Lord answers, "No. Be athirst. Be afire. I am come to cast fire on earth, and what will I but that it be enkindled?" Religion, in other words, is not for calculating love. One must love life like wine and drink death like water. Religion is love, and love is fire. And that was why he chose persons of fire. He always chose them for his disciples, sons of thunder, for example, like James and John, who would have called down from lightning from heaven to the Samaritans, but whose zeal, once rightly directed, truly thundered through a world. He chose a hot-blooded, fiery, impetuous Peter, swinging a sword recklessly at night, and yet one who out of love for the Master breathed his last upon a cross upside down, thinking it unbecoming to die like the Lord. He chose Magdalene, passionate, sensuous, and wild, the kind of a woman who gave her body without ever giving away her soul, and yet the one who, under the touch of Christ's fiery hand, gave her body in penance to save souls in grace. There is no place for spineless characters in religion. There is more possibility for conversion in passion wrongly directed than in indifference. More in those who thirst than those who are filled. Where there is fire, that direction can always be changed by God's grace, so that it will burn upward rather than downward, and thus enkindle goodness rather than vice. But where there is indifference, false tolerance, spineless broad-mindedness that espouses all causes and yet really accepts none, when there's that kind of mentality, there is no chance for salvation. There are many potential saints in prison and many potential devils in the service of God. In both cases, there is a thirst for Satan and a thirst for God. And neither thirst could be reversed. Lenin, for example, was a St. Francis in reverse. And St. Francis was Lenin in reverse. Both started with the idea of violence. Lenin believed in violence to others. St. Francis believed in violence to himself. They both had the same starting point. Violence. As our Lord had said, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent shall bear it away. It was the direction of that violence that made the difference between St. Francis and Lenin. Hate and love spring from the same passion, as laughter and sorrow drink from the same fountain of tears. The difference is in the motive and the end for which they live. Religion is something that either must be hated or loved. It cannot be watched as the moderns do it. There are too many people in this world who get credit for being good when they're just passive. They're often praised for being broad-minded when they're so broad-minded they could never make up their minds about anything. They're like icebergs that float around the cold streams of the north. They deserve no credit for being icebergs. They cannot help it. But let those icebergs get down among the warm Gulf streams of the south and remain icebergs. They have character. And those are the souls for which God thirsts. And so to you moderns, who have no great enthusiasms, I say, it is not what you know that is true which keeps you from salvation. It is what you know that is false. You moderns will never be convinced of religion by argument, for the chances are you already have had sufficient knowledge. What you need is goodwill. You are skeptics, and the best cure for skeptic poisoning is love. Develop a little fire, a little enthusiasm. God has no use for tepid souls. Love your neighbor with an unselfish, dedicated, passionate love, and you will find your God. And that is why this year we chose to give away on the air this little booklet called Friends. In order, in the midst of bigotry and anti-Semitism and anti-Christianity, to inspire a thirst for God and love of neighbor. If you write for this little booklet, we will send it to you free. And I beg you moderns, therefore, visit the sick in hospitals, the poor in the slums. Give them some of your possessions and listen to these people. Notice the different attitudes of those who have faith and those who have it not. How peaceful are in suffering those who have faith, and how rebellious the others are. Have you ever noticed that? And slowly you will come to see that if God can make that much difference in their suffering lives, what a great difference he could make in your own. Suffer deeply in sympathy with others. Love them in an unselfish way, and you will learn more than you ever learn from books. Elias will never come to you, but Christ will come in suffering and in need. It is he who is asking for it. For I was hungry, and you gave me to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me to drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. Sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. That word of our Lord from the cross reveals the secret of your unhappiness. It is your lukewarmness. You moderns have no great loves. You are not on fire. You never thirst. Even we who have the faith know the Savior and his cross as well, have been infected sometimes by this passivity of yours. We too are lukewarm. The cohorts of Satan today have unfortunately more passion for the spreading of evil than the children of God have for the spreading of truth. As Prometheus stole the fire from heaven, so the Pentecostal fires have been stolen from our altar and now are blazing in the temples of anti-God. And that is why we ask for fire in the shape of a holy hour from every Jew and every Protestant and every Catholic in this radio audience. Every day, set aside an hour. And Catholics attend Mass every morning and spend an extra half hour to complete that hour. This war will stop through our prayers This is the real balance of power. The prayer and trust of men and God. All of us are moderns in a certain sense. We do not love as we ought. God is a consuming fire, and we are puny embers. Christ came to cast fire on earth, and we throw up a smoke screen. We are all waiting for Elias to take him down. Why do we not do it, and do it now? We go up to Calvary, but we come down uncrucified, and woe, I say woe unto us that come down from Calvary with hands unscarred and white. From the cross the Savior cries, I thirst. And we reach him vinegar and gall. If that cross means anything, it means that our human goodness is not good enough. And well may the Savior say to us, you call me master, and obey me not. You call me light, and seek me not. You call me way, and walk not. You call me life, and desire me not. You call me wise, and follow me not. You call me fair, and love me not. You call me rich, and ask me not. You call me eternal, and seek me not. You call me gracious, and trust me not. You call me noble, and serve me not. You call me mighty, and honor me not. You call me just, and feed me not. If I condemn thee, blame me not. God love you.
Again, Fulton Sheen, and like I said, that one in particular hit me right in between the eyes.
You've turned me on to him, and I am so impressed with his, first of all, his intellectualism, and he can talk to the secular folks, but he has this air about him that it's almost like, you know, what I'm saying is right, and you should be in the fold, and I love that about him.
And it's always amazing to me, whether it's something you read that's written or a radio speech given in 19th spring, Lent of 1944.
How relevant.
Yeah.
How relevant,
more than
Joey.
ever.
How relevant.
More than ever.
Nothing new under the sun, Joey. Everything old new again. And that's that's the Holy Spirit continuing his messaging, and that's beautiful.
We have to hit this break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
If you own a home and need cash, you can unlock thousands of dollars from your home equity quickly and easily. Call LendGo today at 888-407-7095. At LendGo, you can find out how much cash you could get with a home equity loan in just 2 minutes. It's free, there's no obligation, and it won't affect your credit score. Use the money for anything. Pay off high-interest debt, make home improvements, or just give your budget some breathing room. Best of all, you keep your low mortgage rate while you're getting the cash you need. See how much you can get today. Call 888-407-7095. That's 888-407-7095. Or visit lendgo.com. That's LENDGO.com. Homeowners nationwide are doing it. Now it's your turn. Call 888-407-7095 today. Lingo, where homeowners go to get cash. 888-407-7095.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The 22nd Annual Autism Crawfish Boil benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama is April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them to go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. If you just search, if you want to hear more of something like that in particular, that radio series, just search 7 Last Words by Fulton Sheen, Catholic Hour, 1944. And you can find them, folks. And not to give you all whiplash, but I want to jump back to some local politics because... You know, as we enter in this Holy Week, it's always good to, as we focus on, I think, what really matters at the end of the day, it hopefully gives you perspective on the games and the nonsense, the threats and the taunts and all these other things that are bound to happen, and the threats and taunts and just outright smears,
skullduggery,
are coming in heavy. In particular, I'm not choosing anybody in particular. Like, I wish Barry Moore well in this U.S. Senate race. I wish Steve Marshall the same, Jared Hudson, everybody down the line.
Right.
I've enjoyed my conversation with everybody who's running for the U.S. Senate for that seat that Tuberville's vacating.
Right.
But there was an ad put out, not by any particular campaign, but put out by Club for Growth that went against Steve Marshall. And it was one of the more... Like, I saw that ad, and I told Jeff Poor this on his show. I'm like, I'm glad I went to church this morning after seeing that because it was... Yeah. It was a little intense. Well, here's a story by Caleb Taylor there at 1819 News. It's a lie. Sister of murdered police officer slams Club for Growth anti-Steve Marshall ad.
Wow.
Because they use a lot of examples, apparently, where Steve Marshall was soft on crime. Which I'm like, you could say Steve Marshall was Democrat, even go, he was an Obama Democrat. Like, whatever. Like, that was, everybody knew it was coming, including Steve. But, like, to say he's soft on crime just seems silly on the face of it. So, Brenda Barnes, the sister of a police officer murdered in the line of duty, fired back at a Washington, D.C. special interest group on Monday for exploiting her brother's death. Club for Growth, a Washington, D.C.-based super PAC group supporting Barry Moore's campaign.
And they are the de facto, just to interrupt you, they are considered the de facto backing you need to win in the Republican
Oh, and they're
Party.
hardcore, like,
They're
conservative
serious,
and stuff.
serious,
Like, I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of their politics, but these tactics, I was like, that's a bit much. But they are running radio, TV, and digital ads in targeted Alabama media markets that falsely claim Attorney General Steve Marshall, one of Barry Moore's primary opponents in the race for U.S. Senate, is weak on crime, according to Barnes. Wow. The group recently began running ads claiming Marshall spent most of his life as a soft-on-crime Democrat. Barnes, whose family credits Marshall with delivering justice after her brother's murder, said in a statement on Monday that the ads are a brazen lie and is demanding Moore call for their immediate removal. What the group supporting Barry Moore is doing in this ad isn't just wrong, it's a lie. They've twisted my family's tragedy to try to help Barry Moore, falsely claiming Steve Marshall doesn't stand up for victims or hold criminals accountable. My family knows firsthand that's completely false, Barnes said. When my brother, a police officer, was murdered, Steve made sure the killers were held accountable, securing life sentences, including one without parole. When one came up for parole, Steve was there. He stood with us and fought to keep a cop killer behind bars. Because of Steve, they are still in prison where they belong. That's not politics, that's leadership. Barnes continued, saying Barrymore's allies are exploiting our loss, distorting the truth, and using our pain to attack a man who delivered justice for our family. It's dishonest, disgusting, and highlights everything that's wrong with Washington. If Congressman Moore has any integrity, he'll demand this ad be taken down immediately, Barnes added. Again, the Republican primary is May 19th. But this also shows how rotten the super PAC system is.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Because Barry's team didn't put that out.
No. But
Club, who's backing him's like, well, we know how to back you, man.
That's exactly how they do it.
And it's just, it's going to backfire if that's what you got.
If you take their money, you will do what they want. And they, listen, but I'm going to say this
But
to
you can't coordinate, the campaign cannot coordinate with the super PAC.
I know this, but I'm telling you, they're saying this is how we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Joey, they win 85% of the time.
I'm sorry, if I'm Barry, and I don't go as far as Brenda, I'm not throwing this completely on Barry. But like, if I'm Barry, I'm like, with friends like this, who needs enemies?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if you want to dance with them at the dance, you got to do what they say, and it's that simple.
I appreciate Caleb Taylor putting that out, because I was a bit taken aback when I saw that
ad
last Wednesday.
Very harsh. Very harsh. Yeah.
Very harsh indeed, and we'll see.
Where do you go from there, Joey?
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
We get a lot of questions about what all we handle at Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader, and we will handle all of your real estate needs.
We handle all your buying and selling needs, from your first home, next home, land, investment property, and even commercial properties.
We do it all and have the experience that shows you what makes us different.
So when you think real estate, think Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Look us up on Facebook or give us a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you who you have on your sign matters.
Hello, this is David Ernest with Ernest Financial. And just like Ernest Financial makes lots of money for our clients, Blue Water has helped us make lots of money for our company. You cannot go wrong with advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Temperatures are warming up this week. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower 80s today with a good bit of sunshine. Partly cloudy, down to 59 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think we are in the middle 80s. As March ends and April begins, there could be an isolated shower or storm on Tuesday afternoon, but a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms at times Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
So apparently there was a No Kings protest.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I think there's a certain king all these people need. You know, the King of Kings.
Yeah, amen, brother.
But interesting breakdown here. Calls for democracy clash with treatment of press at Tuscaloosa No Kings protest. Now, of course, there's the Los Angeles one where people are like, you know, they arrested the Statue of Liberty. I'm like, pretty demonic looking Statue of Liberty.
Didn't look like anyone I recognize.
Anyway, but this was in Tuscaloosa. This is written up by Trenton Buffenbarger, who has been, I believe, is a student at the University of Alabama, has been writing up things for 1819 News. But from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a protest in Government Plaza on Saturday. So this would have been Saturday the 28th. Protest in Government Plaza on Saturday the 28th, billed as a defense of democracy, devolved into harassment and physical aggression towards a reporter covering the event. The event, organized by Indivisible, drew approximately about 400 demonstrators who chanted slogans and held signs focused on President Donald Trump and his administration. But while protesters claimed to be advocating for democratic values, many of their actions towards the media told a different story. Attendees repeatedly harassed an 1819 News reporter covering the event and was, at one point, appeared to be physically pushed over while standing on a public sidewalk. Individuals moved to obstruct the camera, shouted over attempts to document the protest and interview attendees, and attempted to interfere with coverage of the event. At multiple points during the 2-hour protest, the reporting escalated beyond verbal confrontation. At times, members of the crowd closed in on the reporter, creating a tense and intimidating environment. Organizers associated with Indivisible did little to de-escalate the situation. Instead, their actions appeared to contribute to the hostility by trying to force the reporter to leave the public sidewalk, following them throughout and encouraging confrontation against the reporter. Video footage from the protest shows the crowd surrounding, shouting, and harassing the reporter, underscoring the increasingly common pattern of antagonism towards journalists nationwide covering politically charged events. Organizers also denied that any assault had happened and instead pressured the reporter to leave, even contacting Tuscaloosa police at the scene. Officers informed organizers that the reporter could be on the public sidewalk despite the organization's permit for the park's grassy area and that he did not need to leave. The incident highlights a growing contradiction at left-wing protests that claim to defend democratic principles while simultaneously attempting to shut down press coverage in public spaces. Journalists have a well-established right to document public events, and Alabama is a single-party consent state. During the protest, attendees chanted and held signs with slogans like, "Send Trump to Russia," "Trump is a dictator," with a picture of genitals, "War, measles, hate," "Kings fall when the people rise," among many others. Protesters chanted in a circle, standing by the road and holding signs, with one dressed as Jesus wearing a crown of thorns carrying a large cross, saying, "Who would Jesus deport?" Oh, really? Other costumes included an inflatable Trump costume, a painted Captain America-style outfit, and more. One organizer, identified by an orange vest as affiliated with Indivisible, was University of Alabama political science professor Judson Abraham, who declined to be interviewed from 1819 News by 1819 News at the scene. Other organizers refused to comment on behalf of Indivisible, despite attempts to get a statement from the group. The events in Tuscaloosa highlight an ongoing contradiction between calls for openness and efforts to silence the press and other voices in public spaces. And again, this is Trenton Buffenbarger, who I believe is the reporter in question here. He's a senior at the University of Alabama and is chairman of UA's Young Americans for Freedom. Now, did you ever, I don't know. Maybe I'm asking the wrong guy. When I was in college, like, I always was like, I'm not going anywhere near the protests, man.
You know what?
Just the rallies and all the stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I've never really been that. Even stuff I might like, I'm kind of like, I don't like crowds.
I was a beta. So I was Greek and I was ROTC, and so I had my own life. But I mean, I think the only thing they were ever protesting when I was at Ball State was nuclear weapons or something like that. And it was a bunch of like magic kids that play magic out there. Yeah. Sorry, you could smell them. You could smell them across the way.
No, it's I don't know. I look at that and I
so
just
you
shake my
stayed
head.
clear of them. You're like, I'm not interested in doing that. Or
Well, and I want to begin with where I started here, just the very beginning.
Yeah.
In the midst of Holy Week, it is far too easy to be caught up carrying the tune of our distractions and demands rather than carrying our cross.
True.
That some may look upon this week with indifference or disdain is nothing new. So too did many look upon the cross of Calvary with eyes full of apathy and contempt. How many, whether or not they know what they do, will sing songs of mockery as this Holy Week comes and goes? How many will feel forsaken yet not seek his face? How many will remain caught up like soldiers in their duties? How many will whistle bets, issuing taunts and threats, only to cast lots to settle the scores of sport, think of Tuberville, or war? How many will hum their disinterest and disregard as though this week is just another to be ignored? And, it's to be expected because the world doesn't change that much.
Nothing new.
It's why that Fulton Sheen radio segment still works, even though it's from 1944.
It's completely relevant right now.
It's why Psalms written thousands of years ago by King David and others still speak to the human heart. Like, there is a lot that's different. I mean, what a time we live in now.
AI, but still.
Yeah, what a time we live in now. But when you actually think about it, it's like, no, the same distractions, the same demands, the same disregard keeps cropping up in different forms. And, God love people. Like, I want people to see their ways. And sometimes you got to go through a rough patch in life. Don't we all? I certainly have that story on it in order to get that grace down the road. But, it's what a time we live in.
Listening to you talk, I realize, and I've said this, I think, before, but I mean this. When you open your heart, like I did yesterday with this individual, when you open your heart, everything speaks to you. Because we are the reason Christ had to do what he had to do. And without him, there is no hope. Could you imagine waking up every day, Joey, if you're agnostic, crazy, say, this is it. I get up, I do this, and then I repeat. What a hollow existence that would be for you. It's just sad. A lot of the world lives like that.
Man.
Yeah.
I was the lukewarm modern for a long, long time. And,
not anymore.
And there's still days where you struggle with it. But it's a day-by-day thing. Anyway, we got to hit this final break. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Closing moments of the program now. And let's go to Ray Bowles with Bravo Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good. Hey, I saw Mark at church yesterday, and he's sitting right behind me, and he wanted me to ask you a question on the radio. but unfortunately, it's been over 24 hours, and I cannot recall the question. Sorry, Mark.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was something about a portal in Taiwan. I don't know. At any rate, come next Sunday, it's Easter's coming up this Sunday. That dovetails in a whole other situation. And Mark doesn't want to come to church but every other Sunday. It's Easter. Tell him he needs to come to church this Sunday.
Well, and if Mark's listening, I go to church pretty much every day, Mark. So you can at least go once a week.
Once a week's not going to hurt you. And, hey, in all seriousness, it is the week of Easter. And if y'all don't have a home church, and if you want to come to church, come sit with me. We sit on the back row. Mark sits on the very, very back row at Heritage Baptist in Prattville. We'd love to have you. Come as you are, and if you need a floor, call us, 285-8117.
Amen.
Let me do that.
Well, appreciate you, Ray. And
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
text Joey the question.
Yeah, Mark, just text me the question. I see his text, answer his text all the time. Just text me the question.
Yeah, just text him. Then I don't have to remember it.
There you go. We've solved the problem. You know, Ray sometimes is forgetful, but at least he's honest about it.
Yes, I will tell you when I forget, because I've got like 45 texts this morning. I've only returned like 10 of them. It's been one of those days.
Well, I appreciate you, Ray. And he's saying Stargate Portal.
Stargate Portal.
You remember
That's what it was, Stargate Portal. Yeah, talk to him about it. It's very interesting.
That's a throwback to a great TV show. Well, I appreciate you, Ray, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
Guys, have a great day.
You too, brother.
Again, that's Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet, 285-8117 if you want to get their help with a resurfacing job. And be sure when you call them up at 285-8117, you tell them that you heard Ray on the radio with Joey and Troy. And Pamela is here early. How are you, Pamela?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. You going to be here on Friday?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
Free for all Friday.
So I won't be here Friday. Like what I did today will be the replay.
Yeah. Okay.
But did you see the thing that Eddie got you behind you?
Yeah, he sent me a picture of it.
That's cool. It's pretty
so
awesome.
funny.
It's like an Andy Warhol thing.
I know. Mark Cumby made it.
It's very
Mark Cumby, he is so talented.
Yeah, because when I
love Mark Cumby.
When I first wore these and saw them on the stream, I was like, I do not know if I like these headphones. They're a lot.
I like them. They look good on you.
But,
great. Yeah.
But
How do they work?
But that is cool.
Yeah, I know. Mark's so
We all
thoughtful.
should have one.
But he makes a bunch of stuff of us, and maybe I'll.
Yeah, he uses AI.
He's so good. And you know what he does?
Yeah.
He drives a truck for, I think, R&L Carriers out there.
Yeah.
I said he's got to be the best truck driver of all time.
Uh-huh.
Mark's awesome.
He's a brother on Christ.
Yes,
the only
he
problem is, Mark, if you're listening, you're a recovering LSU fan. So don't worry about that.
Hey, he picked Arizona to win for
Did he?
basketball with me.
Good,
Yep.
good. All right.
Duke was the highest picked team.
Yeah, of course.
That was a huge upset.
That was.
Yeah, absolutely. I admit I haven't been watching any March
How was your
Madness.
son? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
You know, the emergency's over, but the grand mal seizures that we're seeing, we have never had with him before. And he's 10 years out from a pretty radical brain surgery that was supposed to cure his seizures. He had a hemispherectomy. Google that.
It doesn't sound easy. Yeah.
No. So what they did was, because he had a TBI and all of the brain damage is localized on one side, they split his brain in half. They disconnected the healthy side from the unhealthy side.
Right.
So he went 10 years without a seizure, almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to pray. I'm going to continue to pray hard for.
So we don't know what's going on. He's kind of a late bloomer physiologically, so we think it might have to do with his late onset puberty.
Okay. So possible.
So we don't know.
Well, God bless you. We're
But
praying
it was
for
scary.
him. Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Super
We were praying.
scary.
I was praying all weekend for you. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, did we learn anything today? That Trump thinks he's going to get a deal done this week. We'll believe it.
Yeah,
when
I think
see
so.
it.
The only thing I can leave you with is the only you can prevent workplace beatings. So. Sorry, I had a friend send me that sticker.
Well, we learned about the not like the entire state of Israel, but some IDF forces block the top Catholic Cardinal from actually celebrating Mass on Palm Sunday at the church Church of the Holy Sepulchre?
Yeah, because remember, there was a rocket attack that detonated about an hour earlier, about 1,500 feet from there.
And the Cardinal said, I get it, we're not going to do the big procession with thousands of people because it's through narrow alleyways and stuff, but like let me and my second in command go say a private mass. It's our most sacred site in the faith.
Pamela, there was an E4. There was an E4 down there with maybe an O1, a lieutenant and a corporal, and they're like, "Sorry, we can't." And then now it's
orders.
Now Bibi Netanyahu's come out saying that was a big mistake. Ambassador Huckabee coming out, that was a big mistake. Yeah, it was a big mistake, but it worked out.
It did.
He ended up saying the mass at the foot of the Mount of Olives, where Jesus wept in the garden.
Did you imagine?
So bless the city of Jerusalem in that way.
That tattoo shop that you need to go to is right around the corner from the Church of the Sepulchre. Yeah, the oldest tattoo shop.
I know someone who got tattooed there.
I do too.
Yeah.
My Navy chaplain friend did, and
That's
it's
cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
Been there for 1,600, 1,700, 1,800 years, something like that, I guess.
We got to take a trip.
That would be worth it.
We also learned that Japan is starting to feel more like an equal instead of just this little brother that always has to apologize.
Gojo now. They're like Gojo.
Yeah, but I think it's a healthy thing for the most part.
They need to be.
Though, talk about generational hatred that goes on there in East Asia.
Koreans don't like Japanese. Koreans hate Japanese even more than the Chinese.
Serious.
It's a problem. Yeah.
And then you read the history and you go, well,
they're pretty brutal.
It's pretty.
What was that unit 7 something? They were terrible. They operated on people. It was not a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not a good thing at all. We also learned that school choice is all the rage in Alabama. Yes. Like they're getting pretty close with, I think, only a day left. With hitting their cap. Like I think the cap is $250 million. So they're up to 187 or something like that. So a lot of applicants there.
We know that the city of Montgomery and their traffic contract is under scrutiny big time, it seems like.
Yeah, and they might have paid out just shy of $250,000 to the company that hasn't done anything.
Wow.
Yeah. And, we learned that the world keeps on spinning, but my mind is elsewhere.
I learned that you, my friend, are on a journey even more. I just want you to know that when you read that at the beginning, you heard what some people said. You know that it's incredible. I've watched you grow, and it's inspirational. So I know for a fact you're not done yet. So.
Oh, and also we learned that Lindsey Graham was spotted at Disney World while on Senate recess, all by his big boy self.
And he had a magic wand, one of those little
He's a Disney
fairy
adult.
dust guy.
That makes so much sense.
He said, I was invited by friends to Orlando to go eat a meal, and then they caught me on camera and walking around.
Cinderella's castle.
Right.
It's a pink wand. I'm not joking. He was carrying a pink sparkle wand with him.
Yeah, no, that was just a bizarre TMZ moment.
Are we sure it was real?
Yeah, with AI, you never know these days. You just never know. So anything big, anything planned for the show upcoming?
David Blackman's going to be with us.
Very cool. Very cool.
Always fun.
And then on Friday, it's going to be you and Sky and Eddie.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
That's going to be very good.
A lot of fun.
So y'all stay tuned. Happy hour.
Happy Holy Week, everybody. Yes.
Amen.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's